coach for Georgia, but she knows the Kentucky Blue well. A former standout gymnast at Kentucky joined the Georgia Gymnastics staff originally as a volunteer assistant coach in September of 2022 and was promoted to assistant coach in 2023. And she is a story gymnast here, 8-time All-American. And you look back at her days, her dad really played a key role in her development growing up, and this is a really neat video we found. Her dad surprised her back in 2017.
Everything, really. Everything I do is really for him. I love to make him proud, and I love to get phone calls from him telling me how proud he is of me. I mean, we've done so many things together. We've gone on road trips together. We've camped together. We've done a lot of stuff. So just to be able to have him as a father, like best father in the world, is really amazing.
She was a phenomenal 8-time All-American at Kentucky, an AAI award finalist, which is equivalent to the Heisman Award in football. She was such an athlete, such a competitor. Every single time she stepped on the floor, it was electric.
Sam, how cool is that video? Her dad surprised her too. That's awesome. And her dad, Kevin, is here today as well.
Yeah, I want to know what color he's wearing in the building. I'm guessing he's wearing Georgia colors now, but I'm sure it feels weird for him in Rupp Arena to not be wearing the Kentucky colors. We got to find that out.
Yeah, we also talked about Ashlyn LeClaire, who's returning today after she spent the last 4 years at Kentucky and now is on Georgia. Really neat stories around both sides today. Third rotation on the horizon here at Rupp. Delaney Rodriguez will lead up on the beam for Kentucky. Aaron Williams will be on the floor for Georgia when we return.
Winner
5 total after 2 rotations here at Rupp. Watching Friday Night Heights. Well, don't forget, Sunday afternoon we'll have a women's basketball triple-header, but we're featuring the middle game highlighted by the #1 team in the nation. South Carolina hosts Vandy at Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. That's at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. South Carolina won a thriller last night against LSU, trying to follow that up after a big performance on the road, squeaking out a victory against a really good LSU team. That is Sunday on SEC Network. So now, again, rotation 3 about to start up. On beam, it'll be Delaney Rodriguez for Kentucky. Georgia will be on the floor with Aaron Williams leading off there. So look at Delaney Rodriguez, the freshman from Las Vegas, really talented. Leading off every rotation.
Yeah, I know she's just a freshman, but man, I am a big Delaney fan. What a big role for her to lead off every event, and hopefully you just watched how she saluted. It is in line with everything the coaches have said about her. She's just so comfortable, very poised. She is unfazed in every single situation, which is a coach's dream, especially on this event right here.
Yeah, and Tim, to follow up on your point, said he feels calm around her. It feels like she's been around longer than a freshman.
Yeah, this is a special athlete that I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg for her. Even when she's a little off, you could see she bobbled just ever so slightly there. She does not react, which is a typical newcomer move to do. She is just phenomenal, pulling it back on. Great job, Delaney.
Kentucky had another good start today. That was one key emphasis for Tim Garrison entering this season. As we get our first floor routine of the night, and it'll be Aaron Williams for Georgia.
Yeah, she's been working on so much consistent technique on all of her tumbling. They said, oh, sometimes if your music starts and you're not ready, you can just start over. There's no deduction. You see her toe went over the line. That's a 1/10 deduction for out of bounds. Finishing double back. Great job getting her chest up on the landing there. Not the best routine we've ever seen her do. Here's that combination pass and doesn't get a good punch out of that first look, but this is a highlight for me, that double back at the end. You can tell she has enough endurance and really just missed her punch on that combination pass in the middle.
They gave Delaney Rodriguez for Kentucky a 9.850 on the beam. Here's Kreslin Brose, who was partly discovered in the recruiting process by Tim Garrison's wife, Rachel Garrison, who noticed her in the gym during that time in her life.
Beautiful front tuck. I like how high she landed. Front toss, back handspring. Looks like she double bumped her arms. Usually your arms have to continue to move in the same direction in order to get credit for the connection. But another freshman in their lineup, early on in their lineup, and I really appreciate how performative she is on this event. Coaches say she's always on, and she, again, looks comfortable for being just a freshman.
Sam, we were told she's a big Taylor Swift fan. You're hearing the Taylor Swift in the background right now.
I'm laughing because Tim Garrison, head coach, told us that and said, you know, you can't be perfect at everything. So I guess he's not a Taylor Swift fan. Big highlight for me, huge front tuck. Finishes 1.5 dismount.
So now Sydney Fitzgerald on the floor for Georgia. We'll go up here next, sophomore from Evans, Georgia.
This first pass is new for her. She's going to be doing a Rudy layout step out. A Rudy is a 1.5 front twisting element into a back layout step out. Sydney was actually sick earlier in the week and told the coaches, when I'm tired, I do better because I don't overthink. So it might actually be a good thing for her. Check out that stuck landing. I'm sure her and her coaches are going to laugh about all of that. It's so funny how sometimes you can do your best gymnastics when you were maybe a little under the weather.
Yeah, when you don't have an opportunity to overthink, and that's what she told us. Now here's Bailey Bunn for Kentucky. And Sam, she had an incredible save last week. that we were both just marveling at here.
This is one for the books. Check this out. Triple series. She should have absolutely been off this beam. I could have watched this video like 10 times because as a former gymnast, let me tell you how difficult that is. When you look at the ground, her body was completely falling forward. I don't know how she saved that. It's still a mystery to me.
Absolutely incredible. So amazing. I had a smile on her face the entire time as well. By the way, her favorite athlete is our colleague, Allie Raisman.
Yeah, and her coaches said that that's actually a bright spot for Kentucky, is to have an athlete with a huge mistake like that and fight till the end, not come off. That's the leadership she displays on this team. Those underclassmen see how bad she wants it and see how bad she's fighting, and that's the leadership and culture that trickles down.
Tim Garrison called her their floor general. Well, Saturday, we have another college basketball. It's a quadruple header for you right here on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Tips off at 1 Eastern, noon Central. But these are the featured games here. You got 5th-ranked Tennessee taking on rival Vandy. In-state matchup there, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Then it's Ole Miss squaring off against Texas A&M at Reed Arena in College Station. That's Saturday. Those should be 2 good matchups.
Definitely an athlete as seasoned as Bailey Bunn is excited for this routine right here to get a little redemption from last week. If I know her well enough, she's going to nail this triple series. Handspring, layout, layout. Knew it. I'm willing to bet she was thinking about that wobble all week in the back of her mind, hoping she would do exactly that. Switch leap, split jump, that's a requirement in this beam routine. Round off double full. Little redemption routine for her. She is having a meet, first time in Rupp this season. Here's where the problems came last week, but no problems here. Handspring, layout, layout. You can almost see it in her eyes. I am not moving. Finishing round up double full to a good stuck landing. Exactly what head coach Tim Garrison is hoping for.
I love the point to Coach Garrison at the end of that set.
Yeah.
Well, coming up on the floor, here's Ashlyn LeClaire for Georgia.
She has new passes like this one right here. A lot of twisting elements. Coaches say she's so good at adjusting even when she's slightly off. Little mic drop moment there, and well-deserved for all those combination passes are really difficult in her routine. I saw those little adjustments the coaches were talking about. Great work. Finishing 1.5 to a back layout step out.
They gave Sydney Fitzgerald a 9.800 on the floor for Georgia. Aaron Williams 9.575 before that. Now here comes Ariana Patterson on the beam for Kentucky. Bailey Bunn just had a 9.90. Same as Delaney Rodriguez, who led off.
Opens with her series, back handspring layout. Oftentimes with powerful athletes like Ariana, sometimes it can be hard to sink in, absorb the beam for those landings. She did a good job of that in her series. Something that you're going to notice about this Kentucky beam team is just how poised they are from start to finish. If they have a little wobble or a little adjustment, then they don't react. And that's what I'm noticing across the board here. And that's the mark of a really amazing beam team. So little adjustment there. She continues to move through the rhythm, and it's not a big deal.
At the moment for Kentucky on beam, you'd be looking to drop the 9.850 score. We'll see where they give Ariana Patterson. Here's the replay.
Switch side, and really that should have been a bigger wobble, but she minimized that wobble, squeezed her core, continued to move through the dance, and you can tell she's a veteran on this team.
And now Addie Wall on the floor again, has 80 to 100 family members, friends, former teammates in the stands watching her on the floor today.
Opens with a really difficult full in. She had an ankle roll in the fall, so wasn't quite as prepared for the beginning of the season. Got thrown in and been handling it beautifully. Good routine from Addie Wall. I saw some facial expressions there. That's one of the things that head coach Courtney Kupets-Carter was hoping they were focusing on, and they're actually taking the focus away from landings. And if I know Courtney as well as I do, I think it's going to help them in their landings. Sometimes putting too much of an emphasis causes more problems than it helps, and phenomenal job from Addie here.
Now here comes Raina Worley. At the moment in front in the all-arounds competition. Raina's mom is here today watching.
Yeah, it's interesting that I've followed her career and really been a fan of her gymnastics since she started. And she's even sharper this year. It's really incredible. You can tell she doesn't overthink things. And the joy that she talks about really illuminates, especially on events right here. You can see she's talking to herself. She's saying her cues. Every time you do this routine or your skills, you have mental cues, and that helps you stay consistent on the beam. On all the events, but really on beam it helps.
Sam, they say she's always been in phenomenal shape. Now she's in even better shape this year.
She is, and I'm shaking my head because it was a really good routine, and I think she wants the 10 so bad. She's going too hard for those sticks.
There's Dad Robert, Mom Catherine watching.
Front aerial, straight into that back handspring layout.
Now here's Lily Smith on the floor. Been given a lot of responsibility as just a freshman, and here's her floor routine.
Opens front double full. That's a difficult E pass, which gives her extra bonus. She is just so stunning to watch on this event. Every detail, her toe point, the extension in her arms. Solid routine from Lily. She has been so productive from a scoring perspective. They want her to also step up in the leadership aspect as well because she has so much to give this team. Her future is so bright at Georgia. They're lucky to have an athlete like Lily.
Sam, there was an intensity about the music and energy of that floor routine that I just loved watching. Now coming up, Isabella Magnelli.
Definitely attention to details.
Magnelli anchoring this beam lineup here for Kentucky.
She's really aggressive on this event. She had to go after that major mistake last week and really just rocked her routine. Sometimes that's tough to do. We talk about sticks being contagious, but mistakes can also be contagious.
Her positive energy has been contagious for this team. Just lights up the room when she walks in.
What a solid anchor routine for Kentucky. Here's that triple series. Back handspring, layout, layout. I love the rhythm. Her back knee is a little soft there. I'd like to see her push all the way through her toes to get that straight, but everything else was rock solid. Way to finish for Kentucky on beam.
For Kentucky on beam, the low score will likely be a 9.825, so maybe they'll drop that. Jada Battle coming up here on the floor for Georgia, anchoring this lineup.
Ooh, I saw her unfortunately fall on that in touch as well. Two athletes that were sick and were supposed to be in this floor lineup. They have been out on floor, so she's in right now. Went from doing 2 events to 4 events. They're wanting her to gain a lot of confidence and comfortability on this floor routine. So sometimes it's good to get thrown in. A lot of potential for Jada in this Georgia floor roster. Just needs probably some more numbers for this pass right here. Front handspring double full. You can see she twists early and opens up a little too soon on the landing.
That followed up Lily Smith's 9-9, which will likely be the highest score on the floor for Georgia in that third rotation. Kentucky on the beam rounded out with a 9-9-2-5 from Isabella Magnelli. One of 3 different scores of 9-9 or higher in that beam rotation for Kentucky. Delaney Rodriguez led it off with a 9-9. Speaking of Kentucky, their head coach Tim Garrison joins us here. Coach, we talked to you earlier this week about the fact that you talk about your goals in August, don't really bring them up after that, week to week. Right. Why is that?
Well, it's really not relevant to us. You know, what's relevant to us right now is being able to get to a Friday and be able to perform at a high level. You know, so we'll talk about things during the week that we would really like to achieve at that meet on Friday. But really thinking about the end of the year is not relevant if we can't focus on what we're doing on Friday.
Tim, you wanted to see the beginning of your lineups really produce, stick landings, hit those handstands, look confident. What are you seeing from particularly the beginning half of your lineup so far?
Yeah, that was one of our goals this week, actually, was to get the first half of our lineups really executing at a high level. And I think for the most part, we've been doing it. I mean, you saw 2 out of 3 9-9s in that first half on beam over there. So I'll take it. If we can do that on beam, I'll be pretty happy.
Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate your time.
You bet.
Well, after 3 rotations, Tim Garrison's team up in this meet by 1-1-7-5 total on that scoreboard, led rotation 4.